This is the Business on Top podcast with Shane Chernoff, VJ Patel, and Ben Siegel.
You wake up in the morning, you say, I put on my big boy pants. Look, I'm wearing a belt. I got big boy pants on.
And I was like, oh, damn, like, I didn't get a picture for the gram.
Woody Williams was career 132 and 116 and was an all-star in 2003 for the Cardinals.
Nice.
Who came up with that band name? Chumbawamba.
I don't know. It's like Oompa Loompa, but Chumbawamba.
The Business on Top podcast.
I am back. What it do, baby? Woo!
We're back. Here's to feeling good all the time, gentlemen. Episode 28 of Business on Top. Shane Chernoff here with Ben Siegel and VJ Patel.
28, you know why? 28 is an important number. I mean, you guys know why.
It's a relevant episode, and if you follow us on Instagram and you saw our preview of tonight's episode, you would know.
You would know. But if you missed our story, because it's only 24 hours, and maybe you were busy, maybe you were working, maybe you were out of town, or you didn't have cell service.
Maybe you're crying in your beer because you're a Mets fan and we don't have any games until Monday.
Or that.
Thanks, Washington.
Yeah.
DC.
I feel bad for all Mets and Nationals. Not really Nationals fans, but mainly Mets fans.
Leave it to Washington to cause even more gridlock, you know?
Right? But 28 is a significant number, not only for Business on Top, but for the New York Yankees, because we are chasing our 28th ring this year, which we hope to
Not hope.
achieve, which we expect.
Happening.
Yeah, which is
Expect it.
happening. Shane's pounding down
Bro.
Apple Jacks.
What the hell's going on over here?
I've probably been eating this cereal for a good 45 minutes. I'm pretty sure it was like up here by the time that we started. We're about halfway down
I can
now.
honestly say I've never bought a box of Apple Jacks in my life.
Oh.
Apple Jacks, super underrated cereal. I think it was just one of the BOGOs. If I had my choices, I probably would have had others. This sounds like this is just going to turn into a Ben's top 4 cereals. But Apple Jacks, like, not a bad cereal, right?
Just go. Lead in. I mean, top 4 cereals.
My top 4 cereals, alright. Number 4, Frosted Wheaties. And it might not be something that you would think of, but if you remember being a kid, Ken Griffey Jr. was on the cover, and they had a promotion. It was like the more cereal you buy, the better chance you have to meet Ken Griffey Jr.
So
They had sweepstakes.
I wouldn't put it in my top 4, but I will say with Frosted Wheaties, it's one of those cereals where if you get a nice bowl of it, the frosted at the bottom will melt. So when you get like halfway through, all that will soak into the milk.
You get sweet ass milk, that's for sure.
I respect it. I wouldn't put it in my top 4, but I do respect the choice.
Yeah. So this is turning. Wow, Shane's top 4. Is this the first time we've ever done this? Shane's top 4 cereals. Number 3 would be Cocoa Rice Krispies. Not to be confused with Coco Crisp, a great outfielder for the Indians and A's over the years. Do we know his actual first name?
Oh, no. They
Really?
Cocoa,
Yeah.
Cocoa Crisp on the screen, right?
That was his actual like.
C-O-C-O, not C-O-C-O-A.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Right. But his actual first name, Covelli Crisp.
Okay.
Why did they just put that on the screen?
He probably preferred to be called Coco.
It's
Right?
like Bam
If
on
you-
a
if-
bio.
If I want to be called Shay Shay instead of Shane, they wouldn't put Shane Chernoff at the bottom. They call it Shay Shay Chernoff. Should we do that? Put that on the poll. Should I be known forevermore as Shay Shay Chernoff?
Yeah, we're gonna have to rebrand some of our Business on Top stuff.
Yeah.
That was the easiest way to turn regular milk into chocolate milk, though. Put the Cocoa Rice Krispies with the milk. I'm having the cereal dry, but does anyone else do that? Am I weird for doing that, or
No,
do you
I
have
do
to
it
have your
sometimes.
cereal with milk? Dry cereal, underrated, I would say.
I would do something like, every time I have cereal, I don't put a lot of milk in it.
Okay.
I have a lot of cereal, less
Yep.
milk.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The number 2 cereal in my arsenal, Shane's top 4, Lucky Charms.
Oh,
Do you know?
that's a good one.
I can't remember the jingle, but there's 4-leaf clovers, red balloons, rainbows, and is there a pot of gold? Do we know all the stars? Stars. That's the other one I was missing. But God, That's a good.
We are all
Yeah.
former fat kids.
That's a good.
Yeah,
that's a good
sure.
cereal.
Some of us current.
we definitely all did the thing where we would pour the cereal into a bowl and only eat the marshmallows and then put it back and basically do the same thing until we've eaten all the marshmallows out of the cereal.
You know, they actually do sell now just the marshmallows, like in a bag of
Hang on.
With
marshmallows.
Lucky Charms?
I'm on it.
Lucky Charms. They sell a bag of Lucky Charms. It's bigger. It's not like the dried up, but it's like it's a bag of marshmallows, but Lucky Charms.
So I'm looking at this. It's on Walmart.com. You can actually get this. It's actually out of stock. It must be really popular. Lucky Charms, just the magical marshmallows, $2
Yeah.
for a bag that is 6 ounces.
It's
So
a steal.
if you ever wanted to eat a pound of mushrooms, or mushrooms are
Don't
good.
contact us.
Mushrooms are good too. I meant marshmallows. I promise.
Then you can contact us.
But marshmallows. Go to Walmart. I guess they have them. That was actually news to me. I did not know that. But my number one cereal is not Apple Jacks. Number one cereal of all time, Raisin Bran.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
With a little bit of oats in there.
That's like the most controversial.
The most-
like.
I think that's the most
Answer
old.
ever.
I
old
rest
person
my
answer.
case. Raisins are delicious. So is the cereal that they put in there. They actually load it up with a lot more sugar than you think. Like that's supposed to. You think of that as a healthy cereal? It's
No, it's
not a healthy cereal. It's loaded with sugar. It's loaded with carbs. They really, really juice that thing up so that it's really sweet.
The funny thing about Raisin Bran is like a lot of older people buy it because of like the fiber. People think it's like rich in fiber, right? But there's so many other cereals, not so many, but there's a lot of cereals out there.
You usually have corn
Are
flakes or
higher.
raisin or just regular bran
Kashi-
flakes. Yeah.
Kashi like has probably the same amount of fiber, but like 3/4 of the less sugar than Raisin Bran.
Because doesn't all cereal have fiber in it technically?
Yeah, to some
Because
degree.
if it's
That's
like
okay.
some kind
yeah,
of
so
brand.
it's okay. I mean, but people buy Raisin Bran mainly for the fiber
Mhm.
aspect, and it's like it's packed with sugar.
How often do you crave cereal? Because, you know, I don't really ever think about it unless it's there, but some people, what was it? Didn't CC Sabathia say for the Yankees at one point he was eating like an entire box of Captain Crunch every day during the season?
Yeah, that was true.
Yeah.
True story.
And what he should have kept eating it because his last couple of years in the Yankees, he lost a lot of weight and he started pitching bad. So, you know,
Yeah.
keep the weight on,
You know what?
pitch.
Screw your health,
Yeah.
Sissy, alright?
Just you're getting paid, just keep the weight on, you'll lose it when you retire, which you did.
Also,
As a selfish Yankees
Yeah,
fan.
right?
Frankie, please put this one on the poll. Is Captain Crunch a performance-enhancing drug?
Oh,
Hey,
man.
whatever, it worked for us.
Yeah, we'll
If-
take it.
What is your favorite? Like, if you're gonna crave cereal, what are you gonna get? Like,
Me?
yeah, I mean, just either of you guys. I'm just making conversation.
Alright, well,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can
gonna
go.
go top 4. I'll do my number 1.
No, I just want
Just
number one.
say like an underrated.
If you're in the aisle and you're like really hungry and
Underrated? Golden Grams.
Golden Grams is super underrated.
Yeah. So what's the difference between Golden Grams and Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Just
It's
one is not cinnamon.
very similar, yeah. but
Yeah.
Just Golden Grams doesn't
are
have
more-
cinnamon?
Tastes like graham crackers. but
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, very. I would say they're very close,
Okay.
and I wonder if we should do that. We should blindfold one of us, or just all three of us, and eat cereal and see if we can know the difference.
Yeah, we can do that.
That would be
We
tough.
like food
Yeah.
challenges.
Yeah.
Too bad there is no month that begins with a C. It would be cereal challenge.
Yeah.
A cereal
we could- I'm
cereal
pretty sure we could
cereal
figure something
challenge
out.
May doesn't have as good of a ring to it.
No.
Alright.
We can
Now
figure
what-
something out.
Go. You want to do top 4?
No, I don't want to do top.
Just
five.
give me your
Alright, we're
favorite.
going-
Give me your favorite cereal because there is something that I want to talk to you guys about after this.
Okay, favorite cereal is definitely Reese's Puffs.
Ooh, underrated.
Oh.
Actually, no, maybe not. Maybe we just. I think you and I just forgot about
Yeah,
it
yeah, we- I-
because
I-
Reese's
just
Puffs is
forgot.
fire, but underrated.
does that cut the roof of your mouth though? I think Reese's
It's
Puffs.
worth it.
Reese's
Doesn't
Puffs,
matter.
if you bite into that, it's like very similar to Captain Crunch, where you really have to get into the.
I don't mind the
Cereal.
extra work.
Yeah.
It
I don't
doesn't.
care if it
It
cuts
doesn't
the
break
roof.
up in the atmosphere.
It's fine.
I need
It makes the
to eat
sugar
whatever.
get into your bloodstream quicker. That's a
Sugar rush.
Underrated cereal. If you guys haven't tried Honey O's, you guys
Honey
ever had
O's.
Honey O's?
I've never had Honey O's.
Okay.
Is that
Next episode, I'm buying a box. We're trying Honey O's on the show. Fire.
Is it like Cheerios? Like Honey Nut Cheerios?
It's like Honey Nut Cheerios, but in the middle of the O is like a granola cluster.
Oh.
It's good. I'll buy it. You guys will be
I'm all about a little bit of granola. Do you have an
And
opinion?
it's buying.
Do we have an opinion on the worst cereal? If you and I are playing poker and I go all in with grape nuts, is there anything? Is there anything you can beat me with? Besides maybe like Gorilla Munch from Whole Foods. Sorry, Gorilla Munch, if you ever wanted to sponsor the show.
Regular Cheerios.
Oh
I
no,
like
I like regular Cheerios.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just too bland for me.
No.
I like regular Cheerios. I would say you ever had puffed wheat?
Yeah, my grandparents would try to force feed that
You wanna
shit to
talk
me all
about
the
a
time.
bland cereal? Oh
That
my
was the
God.
most bland
That's like,
cereal.
So maybe that's
sawdust.
Oh,
Sawdust.
Oh, God.
yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Right?
Like some of it would sit at the bottom of the box, and that was just really gross.
It almost felt like you were just spooning milk in your mouth, like
Yeah.
you were just chewing milk.
Yeah.
It had no taste.
Well, I would have rather chewed milk in my mouth and at least saw an opening day game yesterday than to endure what I've had to endure, which is watch the Mets about to play, find out that there's a Nationals player that got COVID, and before, would you know it, the Mets aren't going to play until Monday. You guys got your opening day game. What'd you think of the baseball yesterday?
I was disappointed.
First game,
Yeah.
first game's back with fans in a
Also-
really long time.
all right.
That wasn't not counting the
There
World
we go.
Series.
I sense a get out of here.
Alright, one, I have a get out of here for the way that the MLB has treated the extra innings rule
Yeah.
in the last, it started last year, right? 2020,
Yeah.
the end of COVID, whatever. Having a guy in second base with no outs and playing that through, that's such a high
Stupid.
school to rec league rule.
Yeah.
I think the runner should be on first. That was my compromise.
How about no run?
I think
Yeah.
we did this because then you have games that last 14 innings, and especially in a pandemic.
It's been happening for how many years though? You love
Well, how
that.
many years are we in a pandemic? I just in
Here's
the
my-
playoffs. In the playoffs, you change it, sure, but in the regular season, it's like hockey, right? You need the games to move along a little bit quicker. You're trying to get people out, and you're trying to get a result, and you're trying to also preserve these players' legs and bodies to make sure that they're good for the playoffs.
Here's my argument, is that you go through a full 9-inning game with none of these rules, right? It's probably a 3-hour game, and then you implement this rule, you just watched a 3-hour game. Why not just let it play out?
You can make the same argument with hockey, and hockey decided to change it for that reason, right? Guys played hard for 60 minutes, 3 periods, and then they had a 5-minute overtime. And the 5-minute overtime used to be 5-on-5. It used to be 4-on-4. I think now it's 3-on-3, which is wide open. By the way, regular season overtime, most exciting 5 minutes in sports, in my
It's
opinion.
3-on-3 now?
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit.
3-on-3 overtime. There's a ton of open ice, and
Wow.
it has led to a lot more goals and a lot more scoring. But what happened was it was 5 minutes of overtime, and when you were playing 5-on-5, you were either gonna get somebody was gonna win or there was gonna be a tie. I think in America we just don't like ties.
Yeah,
So-
it's boring.
So we decided to make it a shootout, but in the playoffs, they changed it, and it's next goal wins. If we do the same thing and we just move it over to baseball and extrapolate, we put a runner on first starting in the 10th inning, or maybe just run a regular inning in the 10th, and then starting in the 11th, you put somebody at first. What about that? I think that's a fair compromise.
I would just argue
We're getting
that,
into how to fix baseball again.
I would just argue that if you put a runner on, the pitcher's at a disadvantage because a runner's on base already and it wasn't his fault.
It affects his mental,
Well, isn't the goalie in the NHL at a disadvantage because there's 3
No.
players? And
If anything, he's probably at an advantage because there's less guys who can shoot the ball.
No, that's not how that works. There's a lot more open ice and a lot less skaters to cover and a lot less traffic in front of the net. So you get a lot of open one-timers.
But wouldn't that be easier if there's a lot less traffic in front
No.
of the net for a goalie?
3-on-3? There would be a lot less scoring.
But a goalie's just sitting in the net regardless, whether there's 18 people on the ice or 3. A
Yeah.
pitcher has to, especially if a guy's on second in scoring position, he can't give up an extra base hit, so his pitch selection might change. you know.
It is, but, you know, it's one of those things you have to adjust to the flow of the game.
I would meet in the middle, and first base.
Yeah, I would say
Is-
first base is better.
If the guy steals second, all right, you know. But second base, I mean, he's already in scoring.
Second base is too far up. I remember I liked the idea of that idea, and then when I saw it in practice, I said
When your
second
team-
base is too far up because you get a little bleeder up the middle, and
Yeah,
guys are already
when
coming home
When
and you
your
have a
team
lead.
loses like that, first game of the year, because a guy hits a leadoff
Yeah.
double and they win off that,
Yeah.
it's
I get it in high school, like in the like the leagues when you're younger, and it's more exciting that way. But like in the majors, everyone's professional. Like
yeah.
it's so easy to score when somebody's on second.
Who
with
cares?
no outs.
Who cares if the bullpen gets taxed? That's what these guys are getting paid for. And you know what? If there's a next game, that's
Ben Siegel, voice of
that's
the
up to-
fan.
that- I'm
They
just
get paid a
saying-
lot of money to blow their
You
arms
gotta
out.
remember, like me and Vito used to Joe Torre throwing Scott Proctor like
Yeah.
every inning, every day. So it didn't matter if
Rubber on Proctor.
if Proctor threw 5 innings a day before, he was going in the 7th and mop duty the next day. It doesn't matter. These guys shouldn't be babied. You know, like you have a bullpen, you construct the team the way you want, and if your team gets screwed because the game goes into extras, then deal with it. Rant over. Get out of
Alright,
here. Get out of here.
we digress.
All right, we got a little bit more coming up, including we're gonna preview Godzilla versus Kong, and we're gonna play a new game on the show. We're gonna do this or that coming up. Business on top. Have you seen any of the previews for Godzilla versus Kong? Because I think the first thing that I saw was in January, and I was intrigued.
I have not seen anything.
I mean, how many times are we gonna do Godzilla versus Kong? And are kids in their early 20s? Is the average person still interested in these monsters that were very popular in like the 50s and 60s and even the 70s and 80s?
I think a lot of people are. I think
They're iconic characters. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, do they have their claws dug in on the younger generation? I mean, I'm knocking on the door of 30, and I can't remember the last time we had a good King Kong or Godzilla movie.
Someone explain to me the plot. Like, how does Godzilla and King Kong like? What's the plot line?
So there's a really big lizard and there's a really big monkey, and they fight.
Yes, I know that, but like, how do they? I mean, like, they wake up one day and they're like, "All right, well, let's fight it out. Like, we're the two biggest things on Earth. Let's just fight it till death."
well, in
I-
my opinion, I don't know anything about the movie yet.
We gotta get the Down Jacks off.
But yeah, no, I don't know anything about the movie yet. But all I know is both of those characters are good monsters. Like at the end of the day, right? Because like in Godzilla movies, he ends up being the hero or whatever. And King Kong, he ends up being the hero in the movie, right? Because they're fighting off like bad guys or whatever. So I'm thinking they face off, and I'm thinking
There's a layer to it. There's a third party
there's a
that's.
third party that probably comes in, and then they both get together and fight that third
Who
party.
would you take in a King Kong versus Godzilla fight?
Well, that's the whole
That's the whole
idea,
thing.
and I'm glad you gave the game away a little bit, but that's where I was going to anyway. I honestly had to take Godzilla because Godzilla's his biggest tall buildings, and I think if you remember the original King Kong movie, he'd climbed up on the Empire State Building, and Godzilla's as big as the Empire State Building itself. I think they've kind of evened out the sizes to make it a little bit more of a fair fight. But Godzilla's also like an alien with like super crazy breath, and Godzilla's just a big gorilla. Right? Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
I mean, no.
Am I wrong on that?
No. I would, if it's the same size, I think I would go with King Kong because he's got like opposable.
Because the tensile strength of a gorilla.
Yeah, you get the hands that can just grab onto Godzilla, and Godzilla can only. He's
Yeah,
got
little
the
dinky
T-Rex.
arms.
You got the
That's
T-Rex
true.
arms,
Oh,
right?
Bubs.
That's
So he
true.
can't move.
In MMA, if we're doing tail of the tape, Godzilla's got him in reach for sure.
Yeah. King Kong got him with the little chokehold.
But I'm just trying to think of like the whole movie. I mean, everyone knows they're gonna be fighting. Like, what's the build-up? That's what I.
I mean,
can't-
that's an interesting question. I guess you have to
we're-
watch.
we're
You
gonna
gotta watch to
see.
find out.
Yeah.
I mean, are you guys gonna try to do that at some point this weekend? I think the movie's only been out for about a week.
I mean,
Maybe
I'm
less.
in. I want to watch.
I would
watch
go
the
see
other
it.
ones.
Are movie ticket cheaper? Ticket prices cheaper now?
Well, you can also watch it on HBO Max if you don't want to go to the theater. You can actually watch it at home too.
God.
Although we're almost on the other side of this thing to the point where if we wait another couple of weeks, that we can all just go to the theater and watch it. But I'm trying to see, Godzilla versus Kong.
This is gonna be the last.
What kind of early reviews is it getting?
It depends on.
I mean,
how the movie
one of them
ends.
has to die.
77% on Rotten Tomatoes isn't bad.
That's pretty good actually.
So that means one of them has to die.
90.
No, it doesn't mean that.
No, I think they're probably going to set up for a sequel and they'll go best 2 out of 3, just like every boxing rivalry.
No, I think.
Audience score 94%.
Wow, that's actually really good. 77.
That's incredible.
That's actually like one of the better movies you'll ever see.
We'll be the judges.
By the way, when you go on Rotten Tomatoes, do you look at like the critic score or do you look at the audience score? You have to look at the audience score. Am I wrong on this? Because the critics are like, well, I want to watch a movie to feel something. I want to watch a movie for art.
Yeah.
I'm just here to eat popcorn and have a good time and laugh and maybe cry for like a second and just enjoy action sequences. Especially, the movie's Godzilla vs. Kong. I'm not looking for Citizen Kane here.
Yeah.
Like I don't need like imagery and symbolism. Like I need a monkey beating the shit out of a gorilla, or a monkey beating the shit out of Godzilla, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Godzilla versus gorilla.
That's why I would go see the Avengers movies. I mean, I know there's a lot more in-depth plot for those movies, but I just went for the action.
Yeah, you went, but you have a lot of work to do. You have to
Yeah,
watch
I know.
all
I don't
the
even
movies.
remember like which Avengers are which. I mean, I know I've seen them. I just don't know.
Oh,
Part of me wants to Instagram live an all-nighter of us just watching all the Marvel movies and answering all the questions that you have.
Iron Man 1.
Oh god. We'd all look like Tom Cruise at the end of Castaway.
You know what? Next year I'll use my PTO and we'll just watch Marvel movies. We'll all
You're
take our
gonna need,
PTO.
You're gonna need like a whole month of PTO.
We'll all just take our PTO for a whole month and we'll just watch Marvel movies.
Well, rumor has it we're getting a new studio, so during that time, once we transition to the new studio, maybe we'll do that. Got a lot more content coming for you. Got a lot more interesting stuff coming, as you know. But in honor of Godzilla versus Kong, I want to play a little game called This versus That, and we're just gonna compare some things that are pretty polarizing.
I need to save some room for Taco Bell.
Yeah, that's coming soon. But
Sponsors.
Godzilla versus Kong, I think we've all kind of talked about this. You got King Kong, I got Godzilla. Ben Siegel, who do you got?
Godzilla.
Why? Were you not prepared for a follow-up question on that?
I think his tail is the X factor.
Oh!
He's got teeth.
Did you ever play a game on GameCube? That tail whip was a great move.
I didn't. Never owned a GameCube, but I just think the tail, the teeth. I know his arms are short, but the tail and the teeth, I think he can.
I think that's the X factor though, like the arms.
Also,
King Kong
also
can
fire
swing
breath.
through like and get on his back. Like what's Godzilla gonna do?
Yeah, but Godzilla's got a ton of spikes on his back, doesn't he?
Yes, and he
Yeah, but
also
it's
breathes
not gonna hurt
fire.
him. It's not gonna hurt King Kong because he's got some like hard ass.
If fire hurts humans, I'd imagine that fire would hurt.
We'll have to watch the movie.
Yeah.
That's how we'll know.
Godzilla vs. Kong, out now in theaters and on HBO Max.
Let's do
HBO
it.
Max, please sponsor us. But next up,
No, wait.
We'll do a post movie interview after to see.
we should Instagram live the middle of the movie.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We're just stream the whole movie on our page. Instagram Live.
The FBI is gonna get after us. So instead, let's do strawberry versus grape jelly.
Strawberry.
You're making a PB&J. What do you got?
Strawberry.
I started with the. I grew up having grape. My mom would always make me PB&J sandwiches with the grape jelly. And would you go Welch's or Smucker's? Because they're both really good, but I think oh gosh,
Oh my goodness.
getting old sucks. By the way, Welch's grape jelly is where it's at.
Smucker's Swirl. The peanut.
I
butter
remember
and-
that.
That's
Those
my
are good.
favorite.
It's Goober.
It's Goober. It is Goober.
Was that
That's
was
what
it
it's
by
called.
Welch's?
I think it's by No, I think it's by Smucker's.
Smucker's is Goober.
Oh, yeah, okay, that one.
Never had that.
What?
I don't prefer brand. It all tastes the same.
Sidney Crosby versus Alexander Ovechkin. This was a debate that actually surfaced earlier in the week. Brandon Dubinsky, former NHL player, was asked, what did he say? I want to pull this up. Like, he was very praiseful of Alexander Ovechkin, and he did not have that many nice things to say about Sidney Crosby. And that's somebody that actually played with a contemporary. You usually do not hear this kind of thing from somebody else. But Brandon Dubinsky, who played with Sidney Crosby, not as a teammate, but against him for a long time in the league, said, everybody wants to talk about Sid and Ovi. Whatever, dude. F Sid. Like, I'll take Ovi every day of the week. He said this he said this recently this week. He said, I got an Ovi stick. Listen, I asked Ovi for an autograph stick. I got it from him. Thanked him for it. I would never ask Sid for a stick, ever. He said Crosby whined way too much. But Alexander Ovechkin, the pace that he scores goals, still has the potential to be the NHL's all-time leading goal scorer if he plays another few years in the league. It's crazy that he's still able to do it, in my opinion.
How old is he? They're both the same, almost the same age, right?
I think Ovechkin might be 1 year, believe it or not, older. Actually, no, they were in the same draft class, so they're the same age.
It almost seems like Crosby is like the pretty boy, you know, and like he's the rich kid who kind of grew up like in a wealthy family, and he just like had it all. And Ovechkin's like, you know, the Russian kid who didn't have much growing up, who just like was a beast at hockey, and you know he's missing teeth. He's like your typical hockey player. He's the man, and I think and he could grow facial hair, which Sidney Crosby cannot.
Yeah. It's definitely a case of somebody being like the people's champ versus you know, somebody who
like hockey
comes from like royalty. Yeah, royalty. But I gotta go Ovechkin on that one. Let's see, what else do we have? What about flat wings versus drums? You get chicken wings. Flats rule for me.
Drums got the meat.
The problem with flats, in my opinion, is that there's way too much fat on the top of either side, so you really only get one bite of actual wing meat. The thing with drums is you can break it up and you get 2 or 3 decent bites out of every flat wing. Plus they're just, you know, easier to handle, easier to break apart, and I feel like the flats tend to get stuck in your teeth less often.
I think flats are easier to eat.
No, is that what I said?
You break it up. Yeah, I think you said that. I don't...
Did you?
Flat, yeah.
That you were arguing drums.
Well, I guess we're back in the Hall of Fame with not paying attention.
I like drums just because it's just one piece that you can just go around and just finish.
Yeah.
Well, flats you gotta deal with like breaking it in half.
But that's part, you know, that's nice. It's not that much work, but I think the payoff is a lot better than eating a drum.
I think there's more meat on flats than there's drums.
Agreed, 100%.
Half the drum is like unchewable meat.
We gotta look that up.
The top part of a drum you can't even chew. It's like a dog bone.
Agree. Well, that's the problem. There's so much fat and there's so much extra cartilage and stuff like that you're biting into.
That's the top. Like, what about the actual meat part?
And the middle, I don't know.
I would say it's the same amount as a flat.
We gotta get the actual
we gotta do a food challenge.
I think we should do this. I will post this versus that for every single thing that we covered today.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
So we'll go.
Yeah, let's do that. I think people like flats.
Yeah, I think flats.
I like drums. Like I could order only drums for the rest of my life.
Coke versus Pepsi, and I'm not talking about just Coke versus Pepsi. Well, number one, can you tell the difference?
Yes, 100%.
If someone gave you, see, that's another one that we're gonna have to blindfold you guys on. This needs to be a food challenge. Maybe we'll do it next week. Maybe we'll do it in 2 weeks.
So easy.
We should do it.
Well, we'll see. We'll find out.
We should do this versus that food challenge.
This versus that food challenge. Okay, so we're gonna have to do that. But like Coke versus Pepsi's product line, I'm going Pepsi. Pepsi's got Mountain Dew. That's what brings it over the top for me.
Oh, we're factoring others.
That's what I'm saying. The entire
Coke
drink line. Yeah, it all matters.
I mean, I like.
I'll still go Coke,
but I love Coke better than.
Coke has Sprite.
Coke does have Sprite. Pepsi has Sierra Mist.
I would take Sprite over Sierra Mist and Mountain Dew.
Oh wow, yeah. Mountain Dew is like the heavyweight champion of the world for me. And again, one of our down home favorites. Mountain Dew was Mountain Dew gave birth to Baja Blast. Think about that.
I'm a big orange soda guy, and Fanta's the.
If this mic wasn't attached here, I would drop it.
All right.
Crunchy versus smooth peanut butter.
Crunchy.
It
It's not much.
So my answer is gonna be very lawyerly. It depends. If you're having peanut butter on fruit, like if you want to put it on an apple, I'm gonna go smooth peanut butter, creamy peanut butter. But if I'm making a PB&J sandwich, put on a little wheat bread, you want a little different consistency in your bite. So I'm gonna go crunchy peanut butter on that.
Boring.
Yeah, well, okay. That one was kind of a dud. Burger King versus McDonald's. Who you got?
McDonald's.
Oh, Burger King is my first love.
Wow.
I don't know. You cannot beat that flame grilled taste. I feel like, you know, when you
I've
get.
had both.
Do you ever like walk around outside of Burger King?
It's big.
You smell it. It smells so good.
Grilled taste.
Flame.
It's not
I
real
love.
flame grilled taste.
I love a delicious flame grilled Whopper.
I love the frozen, just aroma of the McDonald's meat and fries.
No, see, McDonald's doesn't have as good of a smell as Burger King.
But the
Burger
fries
King.
are way better than Burger King.
McDonald's probably does have better fries, but I go for the burger. I go for the steak. I don't go for the sizzle. So for me, I'm a man of substance. I'm gonna go Burger King here.
Yeah.
Sports car versus SUV.
Sports car.
Sports car.
What sports car?
I'm a big Mustang fan.
I've always admired the GTR. I'm an SUV guy, but I've always admired the GTR.
I have a Jeep myself, so I do like SUVs, but I want speed. I'd rather have speed.
I want to go fast. I want to go fast.
I want to go fast. Okay.
I was gonna put you on Lightning McQueen's face and be like, I am speed.
Yeah.
Can we do that in post?
We can definitely
We
try.
can try. This one's
I wanna go
important.
fast, Mom.
This one's important, folks. Crunchwrap versus Gordita. This is a Taco Bell fit. Wow, you didn't even hesitate on
Crunchwrap's
that one.
like the staple of my order. I'm never going.
Gordita.
I'm going Gordita too. You know, you got the 2 layers, great sauce. I think the Gordita also holds up better overnight if you want to have it, like if you're gonna nurse a hangover or something like that. Also, so I would go with the Gordita there, and Gordita definitely pairs better with the Baja Blast. I think.
I think Gorditas. If you eat a Gordita crunch, you can have like 2 or 3 other items.
That's true.
Yeah,
If
but
you have a Crunchwrap, you're probably good for the.
It's the ultimate.
Yeah,
It's the ultimate
perfect.
utility player.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Beach vacation versus mountain vacation.
Mountain. Because
Mountain.
we live in South Florida.
I
Yeah.
hate beaches.
That's the thing. You know, with a mountain you can go on a hike. You know, there's something different about fresh mountain air that you just really can't get anywhere else. You know, if you're up somewhere in the Rockies or you're up in the Appalachian Mountains and you go on a nice long hike, that just hits different. I feel like, and that's what does
especially
it for
living
me.
in Florida. We don't get any of that normally.
And all beaches are the same, right? I think mountain ranges and like forests, I feel like generally have some kind of diversity to them.
The west coast of Florida is a little. I mean, it's very different than South Florida beaches. The sand's like white, the water's clear. But I mean, a beach is a beach in my opinion.
Mountains.
Life's a beach.
100%.
Life's a beach.
We're just playing in the sand. And the F is. Okay.
Summer versus winter.
Where?
In Florida? Winter.
Oh man, I like winter period, you know.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go on a vacation, one of my favorite things to do, and you know, you've been a part of it, now you have been a part of it too, going up to a cold weather city when it's really cheap to fly up there and spending a weekend there.
Yes.
You know, you might have some issues with some snow, but usually if you can get out of the way of the weather and you see like the snowfall on the ground, as long as there's not a blizzard preventing you from getting there, I just like a winter wonderland,
Try
man.
working in a. I mean, I still say winter, but try working outside.
Winter vacation.
Winter
That's why I
I'll
said
take
in
winter
Florida.
vacations, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have a car with all-wheel drive, that'll make things a little bit easier.
No, that's why we said like a weekend.
Yeah.
During the winter.
Yeah.
Not
Don't
the
not
whole
a 6
summer.
month. Yeah.
Star Wars versus Star Trek.
Never seen either.
Wow. Like any?
Star Wars.
You're telling me wait, stop.
Oh.
We need to stop everything. You're telling me that you have not seen one Star Wars movie or Star Trek movie from start to finish?
No.
Ever. What the hell did you do when you were a kid aside from RuneScape, or was it just RuneScape?
RuneScape, Pokemon, Power Rangers.
Okay.
Insert Russell Westbrook.
By the way, Pokemon Snap coming soon. I want to talk about that next week.
Okay.
Remake.
News to me.
Yeah. But I gotta go Star Wars. Star Trek. Neil deGrasse Tyson has said that is more scientifically accurate than what they do in Star Trek. Star Trek, I think, or Star Wars takes a little bit more artistic liberties with what would be possible. But as much as I love Captain Kirk, Uhura, Spock, and the whole crew, Bones McCoy, I gotta go with Star Wars. Just it's so imaginative, it's so fun, and just really whimsical. And I can't wait for Mandalorian season 3. First of all.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's looking at the realistic perspective of the actual space and all that stuff. Star Wars is good because the storyline is probably one of the best storylines of all time, and just like a sci-fi perspective.
I agree. I mean, you're talking about something that's 50 years old, still resonates with kids every time that they go to Disney World. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Finally, we will end the segment with one more: Batman vs Superman.
Batman.
Superman's got every power. He would take Batman to school. He'd take him to the woodshed. Batman as creative as he is, he might have kryptonite. Money cannot stop the Man of Steel. Coming up next, we end the show. We ordered Taco Bell and a couple shower thoughts for you to send you into your weekend. But, there's been a lot on my mind lately, and one of the things, as I saw downtown by my office, watching somebody driving a tractor trailer and making a left turn, that is really hard to do. I mean, not just anybody can drive a tractor trailer, and it would be terrifying if all of us were driving tractor trailers. Think about how many accidents there would be every day.
I mean, after driving a U-Haul, I feel like driving
even a pickup truck can be tough sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I think I could handle it. U-Hauls are, especially 20 plus footers.
Yeah.
You have to really take that wide turn, and not a lot of people know that you have to take that wide turn.
You have to almost come out to the right, even if you want to make a left turn, and then vice versa.
Exactly.
Tractor trailers would be tough. I think 18-wheelers, because you're not. I mean, you're connected, but you're not one car, right? It's like you have the cabin, and then you have
there's a tractor in the trailer,
and so the trailer kind of takes a different angle, so you can if you cut it too quick, you can jackknife it, where pretty much your trailer can, I guess, essentially drag you,
fold in on you,
or even hop off.
That's why you need a separate license.
Yeah. That seems terrifying. I mean, if you gave me the option, what's scarier, driving a tractor trailer or riding a roller coaster? I would probably say riding in or just driving a tractor trailer. That stuff's not easy.
I would even say even scarier on the highway or driving in general. Have you ever seen those?
But the people that actually do get licensed, those people are professionals, right? They get trained. They have generally years of experience.
Normally, is the trucks that carry 12 to 15 cars? The last car at the back's dangling off.
I like the McDonald's tractor trailers, because I like to think that there are all sorts of Big Macs in there.
Yeah. Can you imagine if one of those flipped over on the highway
and just a bunch of burgers came out?
Yeah. Would
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I mean, if all the Big Macs pre-packaged and everything, why wouldn't I?
Stop and try to get
That's lunch. That's lunch for weeks.
That would be quite a story, quite a haul.
Nope.
Well, I know you guys have some shower thoughts. I would think. Otherwise, this is going to be an early show.
I mean, a shower thought we touched on it earlier is just the baseballs, their lack of, I guess, ruling. They decided to do the extra inning rule, but they didn't implement the universal DH, which, I mean, you really want to speed up a game, put an extra batter in there. I feel like you're
not having a universal DH is a travesty.
Yeah. It's you want to attract. The whole point of baseball is to attract more fans. Put another hitter in the lineup.
Agreed.
I think so. I mean,
You're
I don't understand. It's like seems like we're moving forward on certain things, and then we're every time we take one step forward, we take 2 steps back.
right.
Why are we implementing the universal DH, but then at the same time not instituting a pitch clock, not doing certain things to speed up the game? Putting a runner on second is like a little bit of a bridge too far, as we talked about earlier. But pitchers don't have to hit. Why should hitters have to? Why should pitchers have to hit and hitters don't have to pitch? It just never made much sense to me.
Yeah, I don't see the logic, behind
Bad move. I don't either.
like baseball wanting to, attract these fans that think the game goes faster, so they're gonna want to watch. Well, why would a fan want to watch, 15 or whatever, 15 to 16 teams in the NL that have a pitcher bat? I mean, one spot in the lineup where that person's either bunting or probably getting out.
2 hitters I've ever thought were worth watching hitting the ball: Dontrelle Willis and Bartolo Colon, and those are the only
I knew there was
2.
gonna be there too. Oh, not Dontrelle, but definitely
Dontrelle Spees.
Shout out D-Train.
Honorary
Yeah,
mention
D-Train.
Mike Hampton.
Yeah, and Mike and Rick and
Yeah.
Keel too.
Rick Ankiel. Yeah.
Micah
Oh,
Owings
it's a good-
also.
It's a good
My
point.
Okay, before we go off the rails, I know you had one that we were talking about a lot before the show started.
Yeah.
It was kind of a mind F.
Controversial.
It was
Yeah.
definitely a mind
It's
F.
a little controversial. I don't know. We'll think about it, but okay.
It's polarizing because everybody's kind of got a different perspective on this.
Are cribs, baby cribs, considered cages?
So, my thought is you have to deconstruct it and think about it. What do we think of when we think of a cage? We think of something that is surrounded, captivates the person who is intended to be held captive in it, and there are some schools of thought where it has to be surrounded on all sides. But the real life example that I use that kind of determined my opinion, and I think a crib is a cage, is the WWE cage match. Steel cage. I'm not talking about Hell in a Cell. In a steel cage match, you can escape by going over the top. So therefore, if it's good enough for WWE in a steel cage, a crib is pretty much the same thing. It's surrounded on 3 sides, but it's not. It doesn't have any support on top. Still a cage.
So you're saying a crib's a cage?
A crib is a cage, but a hot dog is not a sandwich. But you'll hear about that next week.
That's a separate debate. I don't know. My original argument for crib not being a cage is, I don't know. When I think of a cage, I think of like a fence or like something.
Let's look up the definition of
like
the word
metal.
cage.
I don't think it has anything to do with the material.
A structure of bars or wires in which birds or other animals are confined. So,
I guess.
well, I guess so. Now the question is, does it have to have bars and wire? Well, I guess a crib has bars.
So, are people having issues with the fact that a crib is like basically entrapping kids?
That's the whole point
Like
of a
the
crib,
cage?
is it not? So your
Yeah.
baby's not.
Yeah, it's
Crawling
for safety.
around and, like,
it's
yeah.
for safety. Like it's a different reason for it. Like if you put a wild animal like you're in a cage.
You also want to make
it's for
sure
a good
that
reason.
you also want to make sure that your kid doesn't get away at the same time.
Yeah, but
It's the
you're
same-
protecting your kid from like causing harm to it.
Wow.
I guess
Him
it's the
or
same when you get
herself.
like a puppy. Like you
Yeah.
it's in the cage. Like especially when you go to sleep because you don't want it going to the bathroom all around the house or like doing something like whatever.
They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just learning. Like they're learning the way of the road or.
I guess a crib is a cage.
Frankie, put it on the poll. Are cribs cages?
Wait, do you think a crib's a cage?
No, I don't think it's a cage.
All I know is that cages are meant to prevent things from getting away. The more we talk about this, the more our Taco Bell is gonna get away. So that's our show.
We were
Take care. Have a good weekend. Take care. Stay tuned. Stay safe.
Let your kids out. Get rid of the cribs. Cue the music.